really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code TIME for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code TIME for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TIME.
They'll protect your health and finances by dealing with insurance companies and medical professionals so you can focus on your health. Drake Law Firm has recovered over $150 million for their clients, and you don't pay anything until your case settles. If you've been in an auto accident or hurt as a result of a slip and fall, before you do anything, call Drake Law Firm. 209-4-900-900. That's 209-4-900-900.
Or Vicks Vapor Shower. And let those soothing Vicks Vapors help you relax. Enjoy a Vicks Vapo moment wherever you choose. Look for Vicks Vapo Bath and Vicks Vapo Shower.
The care in my driver's seat does have sentimental value since my butt's molded to fit it. But I'm ready for a new one from eBay Motors with all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. Till then, I'll just scooch. eBay Motors, let's ride.
My friend that he had to change his system because it's 12 years old. That doesn't sound right to me. With proper care, your furnace and AC were designed to last about 20 years. If the parts are available, Fox Family will make the repair and get you comfortable again, typically the same day, and protect those parts with a lifetime warranty. Get a free second opinion at foxfamilyhvac.com.
Fox Family Heating and Air. The absolute best living rooms, bedrooms, dining rooms, mattresses, home, office, and more.
Save in every department.
And we're proud to offer so many choices during this special sale. Naturewood, you know, the building with the water wheel.
Tell them Brooklyn and Nova sent you.
Folks at Big Mountain Heating and Air, we want you as our customer for life. I know, what business doesn't say that, but we really work hard to prove it with our two-part rejuvenation of both your furnace and air conditioner for only $6.50 a month. It's unique. It's the unsurpassed way to keep the biggest energy-consuming appliance in your home safe and purring like a kitten year-round. It's a win-win, folks. You win with a loss leader pricing for way less than our competition. We win when we get a chance to prove to you the difference of this extremely comprehensive service compared to an all-too-often AC or furnace tune-up sales gimmick, and then we can guarantee your complete heating and air system against breakdown all year long, or the service is free. Call before you have a problem. 916-378-4665, and
don't you dare tune up your heating and air.
So a friend told me about Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and his exact words were, "It changed my life."
I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to remove tomato sauce from inside our microwave and soap scum off the bathtub.
It's like seriously magic, and my secret weapon for cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, doors, and walls, and even keeping my sneakers clean.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser.
Greatest invention ever.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
So they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like, 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-682-6944. 800-682-6944. 800-682-6944.
This is your moment. Take it. If you're a new mother welcoming a baby into your family, paid family leave can provide you up to 8 weeks of partial wage replacement. To learn more, visit CaliforniaPaidFamilyLeave.com. Moments matter.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
Number 1, Frank's Red Hot. Number 2, Wings. Okay, it looks like that's it. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
You're talking about natural gas in the home, right, David?
What else would I be talking about, Patty?
Griner solves gas problems every day by replacing furnaces and water heaters with electric systems.
Right now, the utility companies are willing to pay you big bucks to get rid of your old, inefficient fossil fuel system. Up to $3,000 in Solano County and up to $6,300 in Yolo County.
$2 million. That's how much Griner got our clients in the last rebate program, and this year's going to smash that record. Plus, we do all the rebate paperwork for you.
This utility program won't last long, so sign up today.
Right now, we've got no money down, no interest financing available for those who qualify, and we have plenty of inventory on hand ready to go.
Hey, what's that smell?
Remember, if you suspect a gas, call your local utility right away.
And call us for your gasless home electrification or visit itrustgriner.com.
Let's work together to prevent trafficking in our community, protect victims from abuse, and prosecute the offenders to the fullest extent of the law. Recognizing signs of human trafficking can help save a life. For more information, contact the Family Justice Center at 707-784-7635.
Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton on Big T Sports. It is Charlton on Big T Sports, coming to you worldwide on the Big T Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big T Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to people who like sports, and I do. That's all I'm say. Yes, today is a beautiful January the 26th. 2022, Brando Deportes, Bonjour, the Venice. Welcome to the show. You can also follow Big C Sports and Espanol. Isn't that something? The Big C Sports podcast, and I only speak like 2 words of Spanish. Poquito, bienvenido, but it's still there. They translate it in Spanish, so I do appreciate that. You can follow Big C Sports all around the universe on 23 podcast applications. Really do appreciate that. As I say, welcome to the show. There's so much going on in the world of sports. You can follow on all feeds AI.com. That's all feeds AI.com. You can follow Big C Sports on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcasts, Castbox Podcasts, Deezer Podcasts, Podcast Addict. I think I'm a coffee addict. And also Pod Chaser. Give me some praise. I made it to 11. I got it to 11. Last week I was only counting to 10. I said, give me some praise. Come on. You got count to 11. Without making a mistake. You can also follow Gio on Gio's podcast, Podtail Podcast, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes Podcast Wise, Podbay, and also Verbal Podcast. Give that some praise. Like, come on, y'all. I said, y'all. I guess y'all gotta give it some praise. Come on, y'all. Give that some praise. You can follow Big C Sports. Also streaming on 4 podcast platforms all over the universe. Actually streaming on 4 TV platforms all over the universe. That is Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV. There's fire in Dimdale Hills. And that's the praise. Come on, y'all. I think they were sung by Earth, Wind, and Fire back in the day. It was called Fire. Dun, 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 dun. Come on, y'all. Fire when you walk and talk. It really turns me on. Okay, I don't want to, okay, enough already. Okay, I'm sorry. I did my best, but I remember that song. I used to dance to it all the time. I love paying homage to my family legacy. And on my mother's side, my great-grandmother, Mamo, the matriarch of the family, did everything to keep the family strong also food in the belly. And my grandfather, Pop, former Negro League baseball player, and also known by his church buddies for making the best moonshine in the universe. All saying, boys, get out of that barn. Why do they always chase the boys out of the barn? Why don't girls get into those stupid things? Because you know how boys are. Really do appreciate that. Always taking care of the family. And then growing a lot of fruits and vegetables to stay healthy, if that makes sense to you. Also, want to thank my grandmother, Madia, a wonderful person, business-minded, very loving. A seer, could look at people and tell you everything about them. Really do appreciate her. And my grandfather, Hezekiah, another wonderful gentleman. Really do appreciate that. My beautiful mother, and I mean this, amazing. It's not even bragging. Started a Head Start program and a food program to feed people, and also helped win the Little League Championship of the universe. Give Mama some praise. I think, come on, y'all. Got to give Mama some praise for that. A Head Start program, a food program, and win the Little League Championship of the universe. And then Barry Bonds didn't get the Hall of Fame vote. Isn't that something? I'm just telling you. My mother dealt with a lot of bigotry as a baseball coach, a black woman coaching the Little League baseball team. Still won the championship, but there were some people that said, I will not allow my kids to learn from one of them. He said, quit. He won the championship anyway. A lot of garbage a lot of people have to put up with. And then on my father's side, the patriarch of the family, Albert Curry, a pastor, had 2 service stations in Oakland, California, 2 churches, built the 3rd church in Central California. Always very hardworking, very smart, industrious person. Really do appreciate that. And then my grandmother, Alberta Curry, just a wonderful person, helping my grandfather with the churches and also with the service stations. Always trying to do what it took to keep the family strong. Really do appreciate that. My father, retired Air Force fighter pilot and chief mechanic, making sure planes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night. And then my beautiful brother Todd, with his bombastic voice off the side, sound like lightning with Thomas speak. Thunder and lightning, really do appreciate that. Always reading. I want to thank my daughter Daisy, beautiful daughter, very intelligent, college graduate, double degrees, and 3.5 years with honors at a major university. Would help me set up for events when coaches would come to the West Coast for Big C Sports and merchandising. And my beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, college student, who's very smart, industrious, hardworking, has NBA stats, knows NBA stats inside and out, oftentimes sends me information on NBA stats, and I really do appreciate him. Very bright future ahead of you, Malcolm. Just be the leader in life, like Simba. Watch The Lion King sometime, if that makes sense to you. Also, Big C, with his wealth of knowledge in the past, really appreciate that. Give everybody some praise. Come on now, I said, give everybody some praise. Really do appreciate everything that's happened with Big C Sports in the universe. Oh my God, it's all fair and level war. I tell you, what I love saying, a lot of people contributed to boxers. My great-grandfather started it with his church buddy. Let's get ready to rumble! They would drink all that shine after church, praying to God. And he would say, he even talked to God many times. We said, is God in that barn too? Oh man, life's funny when you think about it. But really do appreciate ESPY-nominated Big C Sports Podcast. No scripts, no 3-way teleprompters, no producer in my ear. And I always honor God. I walk by faith and talk by faith and not by sight. And this is what I often do too, because it takes a lot to put on a show. I remember my first Super Bowl. It was in San Diego, I believe, Super Bowl 32. It was when the Denver Broncos beat the Green Bay Packers, John Elway. And Terrell Davis rushed for 200 yards for 3 quarters, and they made John Elway the MVP of the game. For what? All fair and level war. Even the owner said, this one's for John. And Terrell's like, I rushed for 200 yards at 3 quarters. For John? But, you know, that's the way it goes in the mainstream populations. All fair and level war. But I was on that staff, David Gibson. It was Dick Enberg's crew, and I did stats for Dick Enberg, along with several other people. There were only 3 Chiron assists all over the country, and I was one of them that they flew into San Diego to cover the game. So Big C Sports comes with a lot of credibility from the NFL all the way to my credential that I have with Big C Sports, and I really do appreciate that. But I always produce the show. I direct the topics, and when I did it with the NFL, it was NBC Sports at the time. they had several television trucks and a number of stats people, statisticians, and people who would do the spotting and working in the production to help put on the whole show for the Super Bowl. I do Big C Sports, one black man. Give that some praise. I know some people don't want to give it praise, but give that some praise. Try some guys. You want to try me? Try me. That's what I have to say. Try me. But also, I broadcast all the shows outside of producing the shows. The sound effects are put on by whatever is provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in life. But I really do appreciate that. And then the commercials that come out of the agency in New York City, and then some are post-done. And then I do the stats providing, the storytelling, the play-by-play that you saw last night at Chase Center. Steph Curry, 4-3! The Flash brothers doing their thing. Klay Thompson back. They had a good chance of knocking off the Dallas Mavericks, and they did at beautiful Chase Center. And then I upload the show. It goes out to 23 podcast platforms and 4 TV platforms. And I'd never missed a show since starting Big C Sports September 12, 2015. Not one show that I missed. I started with the Sports Talk USA that was out of Dallas, Texas, and that was after Super Bowl 33, I believe. It was at Denver had beaten the Atlanta Falcons down in Miami, and I was there, went to a Florida Panthers hockey game. They just signed some of the $47 million that played for the Dallas Stars. And there was a gentleman by the name of David Ross said, "Hey, I like your voice. Well, you know, where are you from?" I said, "San Francisco." He said, do you know anything about football? And I said, "A little bit." And he said, actually, I said, "Yeah, I do." And he said, "Well, we were looking for a West Coast correspondent. Would you mind doing some work out covering the NFC West and the AFC West?" And I said, "Sure." So we talked and set it up, and then we were doing a weekly show. Our first tagline was, "Hi, this is Tom Brady, quarterback of the New England Patriots. You're listening to America's Sports Talk team, Sports Talk USA." Ironically, Tom Brady is still playing. He's not going to retire no matter what people tell you. He wants to talk to his wife. Okay, he's going to talk to his wife, and then she's going to say, "Get your butt out of the house." Anyway, he's going to go back to playing football. All's fair and level. I want to just say I'm very honored. I even think about honoring my family. My mother always says, "Pray about things." I love honoring what I've heard growing up in the Bible. One of my favorite verses is Genesis 13, verse 15. It says, "For all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seed forever." And the book of James, chapter 4, verse 2, said, "Ye have not because ye ask not." So if you want something, don't worry about who's on your team. Just make sure that you open your mouth and you ask and give asking some praise. Come on, give it praise, y'all. Don't be shy. This is not the time to be shy. I was shy growing up. It's not a good feeling. Just keep talking. If people don't understand you, that's their fault, not yours. But just keep talking and keep asking. I also want to say, very happy to be a part of a solution for the Veterans Crisis Hotline. I remember growing up oftentimes, like, if you're going to come with me with excuses, come with a solution. Oftentimes people say they want to help our veterans. The Veterans Crisis Hotline, they really go out on a limb to help our veterans. Some say they will stand on their head to make sure our veterans get help. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. If you know any veterans going through issues, you pick up the phone, you call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255, or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net, and give the Veterans Crisis Hotline some praise. Give it praise. First responders, they're the ones who answer the call whenever somebody has a need. It's not answered by people who are in trouble. We all need someone to lean on. And oftentimes, we just want to say thank you for your service. Or someone wears a military hat. But it's nice to give out a number that helps people that serve this country. And many people pay the ultimate sacrifice. So I love giving that out just to show how much I appreciate the military. My family has been military. Grandparents, my father, a nephew, and a brother all fought for this country. And friends also fought in every branch of the service. Really do appreciate that. Also want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, God said, "Let there be light." Open your cell phones or electronic devices to say, play Big C Sports Podcast, and you will see us pop up all over the world. When I was born, it was not there. Wasn't there. I was talking with a group this morning that does work in business. whether sports agents, professional athletes, and people in business. And oftentimes people can take for granted that where you are now is not where you're going to finish in life. You don't always finish where you started. Just like planting a seed, a redwood tree, it just starts with a little seed in the ground, grows to be 300 feet tall. But if someone cut the limbs off and chopped the branch down before the tree grew, it never grow. So don't worry about where you are now. Just keep going forward. I'm telling you, my inspiration outside of family and my mother and father is Bob Johnson. He started BET, Black Entertainment Television. He started it because mainstream would not have roles for Black Americans unless they were degrading. So it started primarily as an entertainment channel for music, and now you have TV shows that actually give people work in Hollywood, where mainstream says, well, we're really not ready yet, and we're looking for someone who has, more, could you be more like, the mentality. And I'm not knocking anybody, but there were a lot of shows that were very degrading, and people got on the air. BET has a lot of programming that's diverse, but I really do appreciate Bob Johnson. He became a billionaire with BET, not ABC TV, not CBS or NBC, but BET, and not a lot of people knew who he was, but he did it anyway because he had the vision, and he never gave up. And just like in Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, he said, let there be light, and he launched BET, Black Entertainment Television, and that's my inspiration with Big C Sports. I just want to be here and do everything I can every day to make everything that I want to do come to fruition, and maybe even inspire a few people along the way. And so I really do appreciate that. Again, Big C Sports Podcast. When I grew up, you couldn't find it on Xfinity Comcast TV. There was no Big C Sports on Xfinity Comcast TV. Now go to the iHeartRadio app and say, play Big C Sports Podcast. You'll see it pop up. Do that. Give that some praise. I'm telling you, it wasn't there when I was born. It's there now. It's been there for about 5 years. When I was born, you couldn't go to Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, or Apple TV and find Big C Sports Podcast. You can find it now. No matter what anybody says. Oh, man, you talk too fast. Oh, your microphone sucks. Hey, man, you suck. All those kind of things. But it doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what people call you. What matters is what God calls you. So always give God some praise. Give God some praise no matter what you do in life. Because all it takes is one yes from God to let things happen. And now I'm looking at $100 million in sponsorship coming. It's coming. I got the proof of it. Doesn't matter what people think. NFL football itself is going to be a $27 billion industry by the year 2027. I'm a part of that too. Jerry Jones is worth $6 billion. 1% of that is $60 million. You think Jerry Jones cares that people don't like him? And a lot of people don't like him. They think, oh, he's mean. He's truculent. He's braggadocious. Well, he has $6 billion. I don't think he cares what people think about him. Oh, he should hire a new coach. Jerry Jones, he should get out of the way. He's the reason the Cowboys don't win. He says, really? He still got $6 billion. Give him some praise. I'm not praising him as a man. I'm just praising him for his vision. When he fired Tom Landry, it was a popular thing to do. People said, you fired Tom Landry? Oh, my God, get rid of this guy. Who is this good old oil boy coming in, getting rid of people with his 400-foot yacht? But he has the most valuable franchise in the NFL, Jerry Jones. Doesn't give a crap what people think. But he did say to Crockett when he saw the stadium, SoFi Stadium, he says, why is your stadium so big? Why you need such a big stadium? And Crockett said, because I got the Big C cup of coffee and it's another cup of extra large. I need a stadium big enough to hold a Big C cup of coffee. I'm just having fun today. But all fair and level war. A lot of these guys make their money in oil and real estate. But really do appreciate things. I also love being affiliated with ValleyHomesWeekly.com, a national real estate show featuring properties in Central California. If you want to know what's going on in your neck of the woods in real estate, go to the nationalrealestatepost.com. That's the nationalrealestatepost.com. And you will actually find people who talk faster than I do. And that's okay, too. It's okay. Just listen faster. Also, if you want to know what's going on in your neck of the woods with mortgages, go to mortgagedailynews.com. That's mortgagedailynews.com. If you're looking for unsecured funding, proud to be an affiliate with 250 lenders that are working to fund business between $10,000 and $400,000 in funding. And once approved, the money can be funded within 5 to 7 days. Funds can be used for any purpose: business startups, real estate investments, repairs, renovations, working capital, down payment assistance, investing in the stock market, debt consolidation, student loans. I believe the Biden administration will write off all student loans retroactive to 2000. That makes sense. There's a couple of qualifications that you got to qualify for, and that's part of anything in life. Is 2 years of consistent income, and also a credit score of 650 and $27,000 annual adjusted income, and minimum requirements: no new credit lines in the last 6 months. And that's for people who want to get out and work and buy real estate. And that's part of the affiliation with Big C Sports. My goal is simple still, to help 10,000 real estate agents and brokers do business all through over the United States. If you want to know more throughout the country about how to deal with the real estate aspect of Big C Sports, 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. Get at some praise. I'm going to take what's called the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout. When I come back, I'm going to talk more about what's going on in the sports universe, from NBA basketball and the NFL. All right, we're back on the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe, and streaming on 4 TV applications. Really do appreciate that. And also, I just want to say, for people who are betting's a big business. It's huge business, but just don't bet more than you can afford to lose. You don't want to be in a bad spot there. A lot of people will tell you they know everything about the game and who's going to win. And, it's amazing. Just be careful. It's a fun thing if you only play with what you can afford to lose. But sometimes people they bite off more than they can chew. Speaking of biting off more than you can chew, I want to say this segment's sponsored by the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with what's all this exotic meat, as well as a Big C coffee. The best part of waking up is Big C in your cup. Get Big C in the praise. It comes in one size, extra large. Come on. You don't be standing in the line saying, which one do you want? Let me see. It's extra large, man. Just one size that fits all, if that makes sense to you. Also, sponsored by Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, 100% on your game, sports fans. When you're watching the big game, you want to eat the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with what's all this exotic meat. The rumor has it tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hands. So if that makes sense to you. It also comes with this Big C coffee. It's a mighty big cup, like the piston cup is right in between. Why is your cup so big? Give big cups some praise. Really do appreciate big cups. If it's too much in one cup, you can also save some for tomorrow, if that makes sense to you. Oh my goodness. At the same time, I just say that there's so much going on in NBA basketball. I'm going to talk about today just some thoughts on my thinking of the NBA basketball. And I mean, everybody saw some good games last night. I don't know how the Kings lost by 50-plus points. It's like they didn't even try. But that's part of life. And then that was over in Boston. And then the LeBron James got cheered in Brooklyn. I mean, maybe that's fine, but I thought that's kind of an affront to the home team. Someone throws on a dunk and the fans cheer. It's okay. But it's all fair level war. I have my own thoughts about it, as we have so many things going on in NBA basketball. I love the fact that we all have a chance to decide who we like. And I love that about NBA basketball. I mean, some of the teams of the week, the Atlanta Hawks, they've been on a 4-game win streak. Not a lot of defense over the years and over the months and over the season, but they played defense lately, and all's fair and level war. It's funny when I think about it. The Sacramento Kings have been 0-2, a new record for the longest playoff drought in NBA history is in their sights. I said they would make the playoffs this year, as 2 teams from Northern California would make the playoffs, and Portland would not be in. But it's just a thought. Maybe it happens. Maybe it doesn't happen. Who knows? The Western Conference versus the Eastern Conference is like 131 and 127 against the Eastern Conference, and that's as of the beginning of this week. I know that they do this every weekly, but I'm just going down my thoughts on who the best teams are. When I look at the Utah Jazz, they were struggling and set to face the best team in the league for the first time this season, and they got knocked down. But they're going to be looking at the Suns also will have an advantage when it comes to resting. The two teams met on Monday, so we all know what happened in that. The Phoenix Suns are a very good team. And then the Jazz also have Memphis on their schedule coming up on Friday, and they close out against Minnesota on Sunday night. When you think about the Grizzlies had climbed to number one, and the other contenders had stumbled in the last year, the Jazz, the 76ers entered the top five as the first quarter of the season came to a close. The Clippers and the Lakers, if you recall, they were tied for the league's best record at 13-4 last year, and they were playing in the same Staples Center, now Crypto.com arena. The Milwaukee Bucks went on to win the NBA championship. They had the league's number one offense. The great Cole Anthony beat Minnesota at the buzzer, but the Magic got beat in the final seconds by Malcolm Brogdon and Gordon Hayward. Jamal Murray, he sent a game in Phoenix in overtime with a amazing buzzer beater, a three-point basket. The great Kawhi Leonard, the Claw last year, had straight ripped the ball out of the Aaron Fox's hands. Some people said it was a foul. Others say they don't see a foul. There's no blood coming down his hand. What do you call a foul? He's not bleeding. Richard Pryor had jokes about a guy that was bleeding. I won't get into it because it's kind of gruesome, but it was funny the way he told it. But when I think about the league and how it's a great league right now, but it's really being outshined by NFL football. Even in the Bay Area is all up in arms about Barry Bonds not getting into the Baseball Hall of Fame by some good old boys who don't like to see the black excellence. They've always tried to find a way to shoot it down. But he's had more home runs than anyone. When you think about it, Barry Bonds hit more home runs than anyone in the Major League Baseball universe. But people want to say, oh, you didn't see it. And they didn't see him put any needles in his backside. They didn't see him do anything. But he was accused of it. And sometimes when you're black, you're going to be accused of something. Oftentimes, there are people who are the mainstream that are doing it. That's just a fact. And I guess it's just part of growing up in the 1619 Project. You can Google that too. So I always let black men know, oftentimes people are going to talk about you behind your back. They won't do it in front of your face. And it's a shame. But this man hit more home runs than anybody in Major League Baseball in the universe. And I'm sure none of those pitchers were on the juice. And he never got found guilty of it. He was accused of it, but I tell young black men, when you're black, sometimes that's all mainstream needs. They want to accuse their own people who look like them that are doing all the bigotry and the racism behind closed doors. Hey, brother, how you doing, brother? God bless you, brother. And when you turn your back, they don't know you're there. They're calling you the N-word, you're this and you're that, and you're no good. And a lot of them, I've heard it with my own two ears. I don't mean you. I'm talking about the other. You're not like them. Not like who? You know the other guy. The other what? You know what I mean. I don't know what you mean. What do you mean I'm not like them? Come on, man. You know what I'm talking about. No, write it down if you can't. A lot of people are just full of crap, man. You're going to vote the best hitter in the history of baseball out of the Hall of Fame because you have an axe to grind. All's fair and level war. NBA, Big C's, power rankings, the Phoenix Suns. Again, this is just, it can change overnight because teams can shoot a three and change things. But I have the Phoenix Suns coming in number one, and you look at what they've done recently with wins over the Spurs and the Pacers last week. They've won at least 30 games they've had led by double digits. Isn't that something? They've also trailed by double digits 3 times during a 6-game winning streak they had. The biggest win came in Dallas last Thursday when they were down 12 points in the third quarter alone. And then they got hot and did their thing. So I'm going to put them right now at number one. I'm not going to have them to finish at number one when the season gets over, but that's just my opinion. And some people might not like my power rankings, but I'm going to go number 2 in Big C power rankings in the NBA basketball universe. I'm going to say the Golden State Warriors. Bang, bang, 9 games north. That makes sense, big. I was hoping that the 49ers would have built their ballpark near McCully Cove, opposite of the beautiful Oracle Ballpark, formerly Pac Bell AT&T Ballpark, because right near the water, about a mile away from where the Giants come to town. is bye-bye, baby. That's where Chase Center is in beautiful downtown San Francisco, just south of the Bay Bridge. It would have been great had they put the new Levi Stadium in San Francisco. Could you imagine the ambiance and being able to walk to a nice restaurant, or even sometimes go take a swim in the bay right outside the stadium? Take a long time to swim in the bay down there at Levi Stadium. But I'm going to go the Golden State Warriors. When you think about Draymond Green's out, Klay Thompson got his groove back. But as I think about how great this team can be, we saw it last night. If you saw them take apart the Dallas Mavericks, they can shoot the lights out, and he hasn't even found his stride yet. He will do that. And Steph Curry had been on a little bit of shooting struggle over the weekend. He was 5 of 26 from three-point range over the weekend, and he struggled with some of his shots, but he had a little itch in his giddy-up in his shooting hand, but he'll get that back. He'll get that like an iron to smooth out a shirt. He's going to get that ironed out soon. But they were able to win an ugly game a few times last week. Curry, his step-back game winner against Houston last Friday, that was a 13-2 run to close the game. And it was just like the announcers always call it, Steph Curry for three! It's all fair in love and war. Really love how Golden State plays basketball. Overall, the defense, without Green, ranked in fourth and 106 points allowed per 100 possessions over the 8 games since he last played. And the Warriors had a top 5 defense last season, especially given Curry struggles. And I feel that once they get their groove back and get everything ironed out, then they will climb the ladder. And I'm still going to put them as the number 1 team in the NBA. But right now, I put them number 2. They got to earn it. Just like Barry Bonds. I'm going to count all the votes. I'm going to believe what I see with my eyes. Number 2, the Memphis Grizzlies, and they were talking about Golden State, Memphis. Memphis was number 1 just a couple of days ago, but they lost. I mean, it's a week-by-week thing. I don't try to do my power rankings by every game. I go by week to week. It depends on how long they rest players, and it's just not about who won a game that day. It's about who wins throughout that week. I'm going to put number 3 in Big C's NBA power rankings, the Memphis Grizzlies. And speaking of Grizzlies, this second sponsored by the Big C Burger. Is a tasty burger, and it comes with, what's all this exotic meat? The last I heard, a Grizzly is exotic meat, if that makes sense to you. But the Grizzlies had last 5 games were one of their toughest stretches of the schedule this season, with all 5 coming against teams no worse than 24-21. The Nuggets, the first, was the end of stretch of 8 games in 12 days. That's hard to get up for an NBA team. So, of course, you're not going to win every game when you're playing 8 games in 12 days and you're on airplanes after one game, then get out of that town and go to an airplane and then fly to another city. It catches up to people, and so that can catch up to them too. But they won 2 out of 5, not bad. The Grizzlies outscored the Bulls 40-18 in the restricted area in a dominant win on Monday. They're a very good team. It's amazing. They're young, and could you imagine how good they're going to be by the end of this year? So I have them right now at Big C's number 3 in NBA power rankings. I'm going to put number 4 in Big C's NBA power rankings. My stomach kind of turns a little bit, and people may not believe this, but I'm going to go with number 4, the great Moses Malone, the Philadelphia 76ers. The great Joel Embiid, he remains amazing, like King Embiid. The great Joel Embiid, King Embiid, over the last 5 weeks, 16 games, he averaged about 34 points, shot 55% from the field, 42% from three-point range. Isn't that something? Got to the line more than 11 attempts per contest because he takes it into the paint like the great Shaquille O'Neal used to do back in the day. And when you think about Tyrese Maxey and Steph Curry, they've all shot the ball well. The King Embiid is really like the Philly cheesesteak, but he should changing that cheesesteak for the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with, what's all this exotic meat? And rumor has it the Big C Burger tastes better in your mouth than it does your head. The great Joel Embiid, he's so big, he deserves the Big C coffee. The best part of waking up is Big C in your cup. It comes in one size, extra large, and that's the only size that the great King Joel Embiid needs. That good boy's been playing good basketball. Really appreciate that. Another King that cracks in the Big C's NBA power ranking, number 5, defending NBA champion, the Milwaukee Bucks. They had been struggling, losing 6 of 8 through last Monday, and then they found out after blowing an 11-point loss in the fourth quarter to Atlanta. Atlanta's a good team, though. They won 4 in a row, and it's a game they led after the third quarter. They got the great Drew Holiday back from a 6-game absence, and they had won 3 straight. So they have quality wins over Memphis and Chicago. Those are playoff teams, and they held 2 top 10 offenses to just 100 points per 100 possessions. Milwaukee's going to be fine. They will be fine as long as King Giannis stays healthy, and that's my point. I'm sticking to it. Number 6, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Number 6 in Big City Power Rankings. Can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. I like that one. The Miami Heat, the great Bam Adebayo, had to return a 22-game absence on Monday. The Heat were without the great Kyle Lowry for personal reasons. They still had Lowry and Adebayo and Jimmy Butler for just 14 of their 47 games. And still, they're doing their thing. They're still a great team. I put them at number 6 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings. 14 of 47 games for their big guys. They still found a way to put it in the bucket. When I think about this team, the Heat rank as the 3rd best and 3rd most improved offense in the league, having scored about 1.7 points more per 100 possessions than they did last season. That's a good team in the Eastern Conference. I know people are looking at Philadelphia. They're looking at the defending NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. But don't turn your back on the Heat, especially in a barbecue. It's all fair. There's gold in them their heels. Number 7, and they don't look like it last night, but the Dallas Mavericks, they got spanked over at beautiful Chase Center in downtown San Francisco. They had won 11 of their last 13 games, now 14, allowing 6 fewer points per 100 possessions than any other team over those 24 days. The stretch included 2 wins over the Grizzlies and the Mavericks, wire-to-wire victory on Sunday, giving them head-to-head tiebreaker. But think about it. They got smoked by the Golden State Warriors, and that's why I feel Golden State is still going to be, in my opinion, one of the top teams in the NBA at the end of the year, because they smoked the team that, in my opinion, is like number 7 in the power rankings. Don't let the smooth taste fool you, is what Steph Curry tells you. Steph Curry tells you that all the time. And the great Luka Doncic, he does his thing too, but that's a good team down in Dallas. When you think about it, when they knocked off the Grizzlies ranked 9th in offense, scored just 95 points per 100 possession in 4 games against Dallas, and scored 112.7 per 100 games against everybody else. Dallas is still searching for an offensive consistency. They didn't find it last night. They got knocked out by the Golden State Warriors, but they will be back. They're a good team. They just got to find the groove. Number 8, Big C's NBA Power Rankings. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they split their 2 big games within the top 6 in the Eastern Conference last week. And the difference between the 2 games was at the rim, going down inside the paint. Monday, they outscored the Brooklyn Nets 40-20 in the restricted area. Just 2 nights later in Chicago, the restricted area, that they scored 54. Isn't that something? They're a good team. Got to give the Cavs some credit. And then their season opener with Memphis. The Cavs, they worst restricted area differential in the season after their win over the Thunder on Saturday at 34-26. They are 22-4 when they've outscored their opponents in the restricted area. And that's a good sign of improvement. Number 9, man, all the talk about James Harden said when the media says they said, don't tell me they, tell me who. They have to have a name. If they said it, that means you're lying. Give me a name. Give me a name. At least tell me what they look like. Don't just say they say. I like what James Harden did. People say, oh, he has an attitude. No, he doesn't. You're going to say that he said something. He said, if the words aren't coming out of my mouth, the great Chris Tucker, don't worry about what they said. But when you think about the Brooklyn Nets, when you think about this team, they don't have all their stars. Durant's being banged up, and then Kyrie Irving sometimes he can't show up, and then it's all up to can they get it done with everybody else off the bench. The great James Harden can only do so much by himself. They got knocked out at the Barclays Center last night in Brooklyn. The crowd, when LeBron James got a steal and came down and got a dunk, this is what you heard. LeBron James, like what? I thought they were at Crypto.com Arena. The crowd jumped to their feet and they start hearing LeBron James. I think that's always an assault on the front to the home team. But the Nets have outscored their opponents by 25 points per 100 possessions in 54 total minutes. 2 rookies, Mills and James Harden, on the floor alongside either the great Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving. They're a good team, but they don't have everybody. It's like a car driving down the road, and it has 4 tires, and 2 of them are missing, or even on the flat. Not missing, but on the flat. But their success is going to be based on how they play together when Durant gets back. Right now, they're just hanging on. It's all fair and love and war. The Nets are 2 games into a stretch of 9 straight against the Western Conference. And with their split in San Antonio and Minnesota, They're 9-8 and 3-5 at home and 6-3 on the road against the West. Thus far, they're back home without Irving, and the Lakers spanked them last night with Anthony Davis back in town. So much for the Lakers not making the playoffs. I told you the Lakers will make the playoffs because that's what the Lakers do. Number 10 in Big C's NBA power rankings, it is Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Hold on, my producer gave me I told you it was not scripted, but my producer snuck into some old newspaper clippings. It's not Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, but you think about it, in Chicago, known as the second city, now have 6 other top 10 guys on the shelf dealing with injuries. Most importantly, the great Zach LaVine out of the UCLA has missed really much the last 6 games with a knee injury. The great Lonzo Ball, also out of UCLA, meniscus tear, out 6 to 8 weeks. And then Alex Caruso broke his wrist in 2 nights after returning from a 13-game absence. And make sure you pay your bets. That's just a joke. I'm just joking. Just don't be so serious. But it's all fair and love and war. Caruso played 12 minutes, and he was all over Giannis Antetokounmpo after he had a fractured wrist. So you got to give him some credit for playing with pain. But the team had a certain measure of resilience, but they're going to have to get their players back and healthy. Chicago's a great city for basketball. Chicago's a great city for sports, period. But you think about Zach LaVine, he can return this week. The Bulls are still tied in the loss column with Miami and Brooklyn at the top of the Eastern standings. I still think that when you get into the playoffs, you can't knock them. But something tells me that Brooklyn, if they get healthy, they'll come out of the Eastern Conference, maybe playing against the Milwaukee Bucks again, defending NBA champions. We will see. It's all fair and love and war. And as they said, that's why they play the game. We play to win the game. We're going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. We're going to come back and talk more about the things that's going on in the sports universe. All right, we're back for the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe. Really do appreciate that. Tonight's NBA schedule is a pretty good schedule. Defending NBA champions Milwaukee Bucks at Cleveland. Cleveland, this is for you. What a game that should be. Charlotte at Indiana. Game's already tipped off. The LA Clippers over in Florida taking on the Orlando Magic. The Sacramento Kings have to show they got a little bit of spine as they fly down to the south and take on the Atlanta Hawks that have won 4 in a row. Might be 5 in a row after the night. The New York Knickerbockers down in Miami taking on the Heat. If you can't stand the Heat, get out of the kitchen. That game is actually on ESPN. And then Denver Nuggets taking on the Brooklyn Nets. Jokic goes into the Barclays Center, and can he do what LeBron James did last night? And that's get a round of applause after he gets a slap dunk. Toronto Raptors over in Chicago taking on the Chicago Bulls. And you got it. That segment sponsored by the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger. And it comes with, what's all this exotic meat? Last I heard, a raptor and a bull are exotic. I wonder what raptor tastes like. Some people say it tastes like chicken. And how would they know if that makes sense to them? Memphis Grizzlies at the San Antonio Spurs. Phoenix in a great game tonight. I'm going to say the game of the night. Phoenix is at the Utah Jazz up in the Wasatch Mountains. The Jazz are really good at home. And can Chris Paul and Booker go in there and get it done with them good old boys and Gobert trying to goaltend everything that comes in? The Dallas Mavericks, they just got beat down by the Golden State Warriors, and now they're up at the Motor Center taking on the Portland Trailblazers, and that's the NBA schedule for tonight. It's beautiful January 26, 2022. All fair and love and war. You know, there's so much going on in sports. Really appreciate all of the talk of NBA basketball, and can't wait to get to the break. There's so many people thinking, do we have a big team? Do we swap players in LA? LA's known for maybe a front-running city. I still laugh at they said, we cannot tolerate them good boys coming in from Northern California with all that gold and coming into Staples Center, not Staples Center, but the SoFi Stadium, and buying up all the seats. I just thought that was funny. You're in LA. You're the number 2 media market in the country. And San Francisco is the number 4 media market in the country. And when you watch the last game, the final game of the week, of the season, week 18, actually, game 17, and the 49ers didn't have as many fans as the Rams, but they were just as loud. And will that happen again? I can't wait to see that. That's a storyline in itself on Sunday. Well, the 49ers sneak the Bang Bang Nighter game into SoFi Stadium and eat up all of the Big C burgers. It's a tasty burger and it comes with exotic meat. And lamb is exotic meat. Bang Bang Nighter game. I told you when you go to Niner tailgate parties at Levi Stadium, there's a lot of people, they barbecue lamb. We'll see what happens. They're going for win number 7 against the Los Angeles Rams. That's 7 in a row. There's just a lot of things about football that's exciting. It's Northern California versus Southern California. Really looking forward to that. And I can't wait until that game kicks off in beautiful Southern California. I still say I'm going with the 49ers making it to the 7th Super Bowl in season number 75, played on February the 13th in the 213. 7 plus 5 is 12. Yeah, okay, enough of that. But it's all fair and level war. NFL head coaching, there's a coaching carousel moving around. They'll be coming around the mountain when she come. The great Johnny Cash sang that song back in the day. You'll be coming around that mountain when she come. Come on, guys. You'll be coming around that mountain. You'll be coming around that mountain. You'll be coming around that mountain. You'll be coming. You try singing Johnny Cash. That was my favorite singer when I was a little boy in kindergarten. Jacksonville Jaguars fired Urban Meyer, an urban legend, and that was December 16th. Didn't even make the whole season. And there's a lot of candidates now that everybody wants to say who's going to be the next coach down there. The Raiders got rid of John Gruden. In fact, they didn't get rid of him. He resigned because he was sexist, racist, and homophobic. He still didn't lose his job. They said he had to resign because those are not things to be fired over. That's what Mark Davis said. He's just sexist, just racist. What's wrong with that? All fair and level war. The Denver Broncos were the next to fire the head coach, Vic Fangio, and they were let go after 3 seasons. The day after the season ended, the Minnesota Vikings, the Miami Dolphins inexplicably got rid of Brian Flores, but the Chicago Bears fired their coach. The New York Giants followed the day after, and the Houston Texans did 2 days later. And now there's only one black coach in the NFL. People say, what's wrong with that? We want liberty and justice for all. Judge people not by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. Only in America, the great Don King says. I think that's crazy. You got to talk about it. It's just because it's real. And then the New Orleans Saints, the great Sean Payton stepped down yesterday so he could become the new coach of the Dallas Cowboys. The younger Jerry Jones would have already made the deal. There's a movie or a TV show growing up called Let's Make a Deal. I think it was Bob Barker. And you only had about a minute to make a deal. If you want behind door number 1, or you want what's behind door number 2, or do you want what's behind door number 3? Well, now Jerry Jones is like that guy that walks into the restaurant, a fast food restaurant, and you say, well, let me see, how may I help you, sir? Well, let me see, I want to get, do you guys have, let me see, I want to see if you guys have, they said, okay, enough already. So now they tried to make it easier on the people standing in line behind that guy, that guy. So they now they said the menus you can get a number 1, a number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, right? So Jerry Jones walked into the restaurant and says, let me see if you guys have what's the difference between number 1 and a number 5? They say, well, you can read it, sir. It's right there. Now, this is Jerry Jones now. When he needs to come to Big C's restaurant because they only got one size. Extra large. Give it extra large of praise. Come on, Jerry Jones. Extra large of praise. You walk into the Big C restaurant. I want a big cup of coffee. I want it big enough to fill AT&T Stadium. What size you got? One size. Extra large. That's what Jerry Jones needs. If he was the younger Jerry Jones, the one that got rid of Tom Landry and brought in Jimmy Johnson and won 2 Super Bowls and won a 3rd one after Jimmy Johnson left with Barry Switzer, Jimmy Johnson's players, he would have already gone up to Sean Payton. Maybe that's what he's done, just not telling people. He's going to maybe put McCarthy on the staff. Unless he might be that guy in the restaurant that says, let me see, how may I help you, sir? I don't know. Let me see, do you guys have, let me see, I want to see, well, I mean, the guy got $6 billion. Who am I to criticize him? What's in your wallet? Come on, give Jerry Jones some praise. Give us some praise. If I had 1% of $6 billion, that'd be $60 million. I'll take it. Criticize of Jerry Jones. The guy got $6 billion. Yeah, he might have made that decision faster when he was younger. But also, so the New Orleans Saints looking for a head coach. Peyton stepped aside. Jacksonville Jaguars, Urban Meyer got fired, so they're looking for a head coach also. And some people are thinking about former Eagles head coach Doug Peterson. He interviewed for the job. A lot of people did interview for that. Jim Caldwell interviewed for the job too. Some people want Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cowboys had 7 points in the game for the 49ers with 7 seconds left. And people say, that's the guy we want. That's our guy. Eric Bieniemy, 4 years in a row in the AFC Championship game as the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. And people like Jerry Jones. Let me see, I'm looking for a coach. Let me look for a guy who, how about Kellen Moore? He's never won a championship. Okay, come on, guys. Eric Bieniemy still being passed over. All he does is win, no matter what, like the great DJ Khaled. But sometimes it's just not enough. Denver Broncos got rid of the great Vic Fangio, and their people. I think when you think about it, a change that general manager George Patton was hired to replace John Elway last year, and it's been a struggle. They went to the Super Bowl 50 out in San Francisco, Santa Clara, and they have not been the same kind of team since. All's fair in love and war. I still feel they'll make the right choice eventually. Minnesota Vikings, Mike Zimmer, got rid of him. He was in the playoffs just 2 years ago, but he's out now, and they've had some heartbreaking losses. 8 seasons with the Vikings, he was 72 wins, 56 losses, and 1 tie. He made 3 trips to the postseason in 2015, 2017, 2019, with 2 playoff wins. But the Vikings fell short of reaching the playoffs in 2020. That was the COVID-19 season. And went 7-9. They fell short in 2021. You would think with a man that's 72 and 56, it wouldn't take a long time for him to find a head coaching job. And maybe the ownership be on Kirk Cousins. Who knows? I mean, Zimmer's done a good job. The Vikings invested north of $46 million guaranteed money on defensive contracts in the offseason to restore their once great defense, the Purple People Eaters Part 2. And before Week 18, Minnesota ranked 31st in yards per game. So that's not the best. They want more out of that. They interviewed the Bucs defensive coordinator, Todd Bowles. I don't know why Kellen Moore's name keeps popping up with the Dallas Cowboys. They play in the weakest division. Yeah, they won the NFC East, but people want to say, Dak Prescott, is he the guy? Dak Prescott doesn't call the plays for the Cowboys. That's Kellen Moore, the guy everyone wants to hire. And Eric Bieniemy just saw the greatest game in one of the greatest game in the history of NFL football playoffs, and that guy can't get a job. Oh man, if it wasn't real, it'd be funny. Matt Nagy, the Chicago Bears, hired in 2018. People thought that he would get Chicago's going in the right direction, while Eric Bieniemy was just playing again in championship games for the Kansas City Chiefs. They just keep hiring white guy after white guy after white guy. And Eric Bieniemy is the only offensive coordinator in the championship game in 2 Super Bowls in the last 4 years. And they're like the guy at the restaurant. Do you guys have let me see, I want to get, hold on a second. They're like, Jerry Jones, just make the choice. Try to make the coach. Unless he hires Eric Bieniemy, but you know that's not going to happen. Not the right shade of cowboy boots. Miami Dolphins, Brian Flores was fired by the Dolphins after 3 seasons and making the playoffs last year. Isn't that something? And you just got to think about it. Flores, despite twice leading the team to winning records, including 10-6 in 2020, they said, well, he's not the guy we're looking for. These are not the droids you're looking for. So now they're looking for other people. Kellen Moore's name comes up again with the Dallas Cowboys. All's fair and level. New York Giants got rid of Joe Judge. You be the judge. You make the call. He was fired after 2 losing seasons with the team. And Eric Bieniemy has been in the AFC Championship game 4 years in a row. And the people say, well, we don't know if he's what we're looking for. He wins too much. He wins too many games. Not good for the stereotype when the guy goes to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years and 4 AFC Championship games. And maybe 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. Yeah, but we're looking for someone who can lead the team. Yeah, right. And then Houston Texans, David Culley. The Texans fired Culley 1 year after longtime assistant became the oldest first-time NFL head coach at age 65. Well, maybe he wanted to have more time down in Texas, but things are different in Texas. One thing in Texas that they don't make any think about is the size of that Big C cup. Why does the cup got to be so big? You can be big too. Back in the day, there's a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, if you flow like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. With all you've got to use, how can you lose? All of it say, I'm pretty. I'm so pretty I can't possibly defeat. These Big C burgers make me light on my feet. And that Big C cup of coffee makes me rumble, rumble, rumble. That's all about always rumbling, young man, rumbling. My beautiful mother always says there's never evidence used for racism or domestic violence. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and ask for help. Because no man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you, on every Big C sports show, the best part of waking up is 60 in your cup. Every Monday through Friday, it's 5 to 6 p.m. on the Big C Sports, on the Big C Sports Network. We thank you. We appreciate you. And we hope you have a super fantastic day. Why does the cup have to be so big?